news, El Paisano on Sherwood Way is open. A street closure might affect the way you get to work. And today marks the beginning of the summertime search for Silver Scavenger Hunt. I'm James Bouligny, and let the games begin. We'll get to the news in a minute, but first, here's a word from Mammoth Roofing.
Hi, I'm Trisha Lira, third-generation roofer and owner of Mammoth Roofing Services. I love what I do, and what I do is build the world's best roofs. Need financing? I got you. 12 months, 0 interest. I'm Trisha Lira. I want to be your roofer for life.
Starting things off, El Paisano on Sherwood Way is officially open. It seems like it was just last week when we reported that El Paisano had taken over the old Hef's Burgers location there at 1902 Sherwood Way. Signage went up awful fast and crews were hard at work. Now, El Paisano Restaurant number 3 is officially open, and when reporters ran by there to snag a picture, the Mexican restaurant had plenty of business. El Paisano is usually open at their other location anyway, from 10 to 3 on Mondays, 10 to 9 on Tuesday through Friday, 9 to 9 on Saturday, and 9 to 3 on Sunday. Access to College Hills Boulevard from Millbrook Road is closed off for the next 2 weeks at least. According to information released by the City of San Angelo, the intersection closure is to help facilitate all the road construction on the west side of the road there. The intersection to this point has been open, but now you'll have to find another route. Of course, work on College Hills has been going on for quite some time now, and crews have been at work from the Avenue end all the way to the loop that hugs the Southland neighborhood. The San Angelo Live mobile app is the best in the business. No, seriously. Download it on the Apple App Store or the Google Play Store. It's free and keeps you up to date with news in San Angelo. Today marks the beginning of the San Angelo Live's Summertime Search for Silver Scavenger Hunt, brought to you by Cano's Diamonds and Coins. Banda, go ahead and throw the riddle up real quick. I have cities but no houses. I have parks but no trees. I have lakes but no water. What am I? I have cities but no houses. I have parks but no trees. I have lakes but no water. What am I? Since this is day one, I am going to throw you a bone and give you 2 pictures that could help you find the coins. Feel like I have to say this, I've done an awful lot of work on this scavenger hunt, and this is $800, so it might appear vague at the moment, but take these clues and the answer to that riddle and think a little bit outside the box. Pride is a sin, but I am proud of the work that I have done that has gone into this. You have to just take what you think you know and test it out. I ran through about 1,000 ideas and sifted through the bad ones and came up with this. Just another thing, when you think you're working this out, nothing, and I mean nothing, has been done by accident. Everything has purpose. You might think this is nothing, these clues don't mean anything, you haven't given us anything, but once we work through it further, and once we start working through the hunt a little bit further, everything will start to make sense. Happy hunting. Into weather, I actually went out to the National Weather Service station out by the airport for our interview today, and Tom had some really important information regarding all the storms we've had so far, so go ahead and check that out after sports. Right now, it looks extremely hot all week though. Currently, it's 100 degrees outside, and that trend will continue all throughout the week, as on Tuesday, it'll be 105, Wednesday, 101, Thursday, 101 again, Friday, 100, and this coming weekend, we'll have highs of 101 on Saturday and 102 on Sunday. Lows all week will be in the mid to low 70s. When we come back, Ryan Chadwick will have sports, and then of course, I went out to the National Weather Service station and talked to Tom Pepe. But first, a word from the Bass Bunch.
Hey, it's just me getting ready for our giant tag sale. Hey Mac, finish these off for me, would you?
Got it, boss.
Right now, during our giant tag sale, you can get a new 2024 Nissan Sentra for just $335 per month.
Don't miss our giant tag sale, only at Jim Bass Cars and Trucks, Houston, Hart, and Arden Road, or 24/7 at bassbunch.com.
The Angelo State Rams continue their national title defense tonight at the Division II College World Series. The Rams battle Point Loma in round 2 in the winner's bracket for a chance at the World Series semifinals. Last Saturday, the Rams downed top-seeded Central Missouri in 11 innings thanks to a clutch RBI from Christian Garnett. Angelo State needs another stellar performance from the entire team to continue this run. Point Loma downed Indiana in the opening game last Saturday 2-1. It will be another game where our defending national champions are the underdogs, but the Rams have handled that pressure well up to this point in the postseason. First pitch in Cary, North Carolina tonight is scheduled for 5 p.m. And for more sports around the Concho Valley and beyond, be sure to check in every day at sanangelolive.com/news/sports.
It's hard to believe how reckless some people can be and how hard they fight against real victims. You need a partner who consistently beats the giants and who will never, ever flinch.
All right, welcome back, everybody. James Bouligny here with Tom Pepe here at the National Weather Service here in San Angelo. First off, Tom, how are we doing?
Doing great.
All right, and let's just get right into it. We had Mammoth Roofing in, talk about all the storms that have blown through. Let's just talk about, why some areas see tornadoes and some don't. And let's talk about the hail, the crazy hail damage. I've seen pictures of, windshields getting busted out and huge dents in cars and skylights getting busted out. Let's just talk about just these storms we've had recently.
Yeah, we have had some pretty good storms roll through our area, and our area does cover Haskell, Throckmorton, all the way down to Crockett and Mason, and pretty much everything within that triangle. So we have seen quite a few storms developing this season that have produced large hail, damaging winds, and some isolated tornadoes as well. We've seen damage. We've gone out and done some surveys, seen some damage anywhere from houses being moved off of their foundation or leveled for the most part to trees getting ripped out.
That's a powerful storm, moving a house off a foundation.
Yeah, well, it depends. Honestly, it really depends on how the house is built. It depends on the type of house. There's a lot of different variables that go into things like this. So mainly when we do our damage surveys, we do go out there and we assess based on the damage specifically, and that's how we end up rating the tornado, because we can based on the damage that we see, we can estimate the wind speed, and that's kind of where we can get into the EF2, EF3, and so on and so forth ranges. So that's really how we do those assessments. Now, going back and speaking on the hail that we've seen, we have seen some pretty good hail. I mean, we just had some right here in San Angelo. I know for myself, my roof got totaled, as well as a few folks here in the office. We've had some damage to cars and such, just like everyone else in the
good time
area.
Good time to be in the roofing business.
Well, yeah, sure could be. Depends if you want to get on a roof when it's hot outside.
That's true. It's 100 degrees today, so.
Absolutely. So, yeah, when it comes to hail and when it comes to tornadoes as well, storms are huge. We've seen big thunderstorms. You can see them in the sky. They cover miles upon miles upon miles. And the reason why some neighborhoods get hit by hail or tornadoes and other ones don't, like we've seen pictures of a tornado damaging a few houses on a block, and other ones completely are unscathed. That's because the tornado is a much smaller area that it covers. Granted, the winds are pretty beefy around them, but right at that core where it can damage a house, in comparison to taking off just a few shingles, it's a small swath of an area, right? Whereas hail's a little bit bigger. You have a hail core, it's usually typically a little bit bigger. So like here in San Angelo in the Bluffs, we got some pretty good hail. A lot of my neighbors, a lot of people in the Bluffs got hail damage. Whereas people up north in the northern part of the town or northwestern part of town or even by Goodfellow, they didn't have as much damage, if any. So that's how it works, is like the storm has a core and a smaller area where the tornado can be. But that hail core kind of moves along with the storm. And it doesn't mean the entire storm is producing that hail. It's just that area specifically that's producing that type of hail. So that's why some houses can get different damage than others when it comes to all that, even wind damage. Because basically the storm is huge, but it's a small section of that storm that's producing those type of conditions. So yeah, that's really how that works.
All right. So we can I know we kind of talked about almanacs. I don't look at almanacs really because that's what has happened. Y'all talking about what's going to happen. But we do kind of have times of the year where we can bet we're going to get some storms. We got one coming up here, 4th of July. We usually get rain on the 4th of July. Kind of go into how y'all kind of look at that, how you see a storm coming in and how y'all can kind of predict how much rain we're going to get, how much
So typically, honestly, there's a lot of variables that go into forecasting, as you can imagine. So there's not like a safe bet. There is a safe bet where it comes to during this time of year, we're going to have some severe weather because this is the normal time of year where the conditions are typically good for that. Whereas in other other seasons, not so much. But you can still get it. It can still happen. So speaking to that, basically when we see storms developing, we'll go out and we'll start putting out we'll put out warnings, such, and advisories to get ahead and get the word out there, because that's our mission here at the Weather Service, is to protect life and property. So that's what we want to do and get that word out. Now, we don't really deal with climatology and looking back into Farmer's almanacs and things like that. We more look, like you said, we look ahead. We're doing the forecast. So with that, we do take into account the season and what is typical for the season, and we look out for certain things. But do we base a forecast on Farmer's Almanac and things like that? No. However, honestly, the funny thing is that the models that we use, some of the numerical models that we use, take into account climatology into that. So climatology is a 30-year window. So within these 30-year windows that happen, right, the models know this is what is normal for this time of year, and it depends on how long the forecast goes out. In the early part of the forecast, it doesn't really take too much of that into account. It takes on what's happening in account. It takes on what observations it's seeing around the country, upper air observations, so on and so forth. It takes all of that, and it gives us an idea of what's happening. But as time goes on in the forecast, like out to day 7, it's going to be a little bit more heavily climatology based, because for this time of year, this is the temperatures we usually get, these are the types of conditions we usually get, and it kind of weighs in to the models that we look at. So there is a little bit that goes into it when it comes to that, but as a forecaster here at the Weather Service, we don't really dive into it that much. It's more of something that we get in the models automatically to help us predict from day 1 through 7.
All right. So, my dad always said when storms are coming out of the north, it's a lot worse than storms moving through from the south. Why did he think that? Can you tell me why? Is it?
Tell you the truth, I don't know. I don't know why he would think that. They can be just as bad coming out of the south or southwest than they can coming out of the northwest. However, there are some conditions that come out of the northwest that are a little bit more favorable. So there might be some climatology to that I personally don't know, because I don't have the records in my head. But coming out of the northwest, you've got drier air coming in, drier air aloft, and you do need drier air aloft, as well as warm, moist air coming out of the southeast or south, and that's what's going to help build a healthy thunderstorm for the most part, generally speaking, because you need warm, moist air at the surface, you need dry air aloft, dry, cooler air aloft for convection to really take place, and then you need good wind shear, you need good instability, which you could get from daytime heating and stuff like that, latent heat. So that helps everything rise, and as you can imagine, rising air, and that's what really does, that's actually what helps produce the larger hail. If you get a really strong updraft, it keeps throwing the small hailstone up and up and up until it gets heavy enough to surpass that updraft, where it then falls. So there is a correlation between strong updraft, big hail, not so strong updraft, smaller hail. So that's why we see that in some of the storms. And you can get storms coming out of the northwest, I would say probably, you can't really put like a northwest storms are always going to be stronger than southwest storms. You can't put it like that, but what you can say is that like storms coming out of the northwest can have better conditions, have more favorable conditions with the drier air aloft rather than coming out of the south. Now, if it's coming out of the southwest, however, because that's what you said northwest or southwest, right? Now, if it's coming out of the southwest, that's dry air too. That's Mexico. That's warm, dry air.
Okay.
So that's where the difference is you got warmer, dry air coming northeastward, whereas from the northwest, you've got cool, drier air coming southeastward. So that's where I'm saying that the more favorable conditions aloft would actually help out with that.
Okay. And
but there isn't no real like science to it. There's no like studies that show that all storms out of the northwest are stronger than out of the south. Yeah, because we've had some pretty good ones come out of Crockett's just recently. We had it was a tornado that ripped through tornadoes near Acton Ranch. Yeah.
We've had tornadoes in Ballinger and in Sterling City. And I mean, I could see the supercell from my house over Ballinger.
It's impressive.
I mean, it was very impressive. I'm like, they're about to get hit really hard up there.
Yeah, we just recently had that with Brady. They just got missed over there. They had a nice storm roll through. We had some reports of damage. Lone School had the roof off apparently, and it was in the middle of the road, as well as we saw some real good hail damage. We had a person call us up, and as they're on the phone with us, you can hear in the background, it sounded like baseballs hitting their roof, and then windows started to shatter in their house. So, you know, kind of scary conditions.
We got messages like that too. We got messages, videos of cars getting beaten up, and messages, hey, Rio Concho West just has all their skylights got busted out, and it's just from all the hail. So let's just kind of couple more. Let's just look to the immediate future here. What are we kind of looking like from here? I mean, you got all this.
Well, for the next 7 days, we're looking at pretty warm temperatures. For today, specifically, we have a marginal risk for eastern portions of our county warning areas, and a slight risk up in the northeastern part of the big country there. Outside of that, it's just going to get a little bit more drier and warmer. Tomorrow and Wednesday are looking pretty warm. We're getting triple digits, and with a little bit of moisture sticking around, our heat indexes are going to be up there as well. So we might be putting out some products on that shortly for heat advisories.
So it's probably gonna be pretty humid.
It could be humid. It could be humid. Not as bad as you would think, like Houston or something like that, closer to the coast. But for this area, it's not the normal, high and dry. Basically, it's more of high and a little less dry. All right. That's the best way to put it.
All right. And another thing, I've seen this online. I just saw it recently. When I heard 20% chance of rain, I used to think, okay, that means there's a 20% chance it's going to rain. Somewhere in the area, there's a 20% chance it might rain. But I've recently heard, and I've heard it kicked around a lot, that when they say 20%, that means, oh, you're going to get rain, but only 20% of the area you cover is going to get rain.
No, so really how that works, the first way was the correct way. So
I was right.
Say we have a county, right? Say Tom Green County, and we have a 20% chance of rain for Tom Green County. Now with our what we call point and click on our website, you can click directly on San Angelo, put your zip code in, and it will give you the forecast for that area. But for the most part, it covers the average area over the county. So if we have a 20% chance of rain over Tom Green County, that means that Tom Green County, there is a 20% chance that rain is going to happen across the entire county. Okay. Right? Whereas what you were saying, others have said, is that only a 20% portion of Tom Green County will 100% see rain, as 80% won't. That is not the case. It's more of the entire area can see that 20% chance. And one thing to also put out there is that when we say 20% chance, that doesn't mean zero. So if you get no rain, that just means your area where you're living did not see the rain. But more than likely, somewhere within Tom Green County did see that rain, which then verifies that 20% chance. Okay. Whereas if we're saying 80 or 90% chance rain, we're thinking it's going to be widespread rain, and most people are going to see rain across the entire county. So that's kind of how that works.
All right. So I was right the first time.
Sure.
All right. Did I miss anything? Is there anything that you need to let people know before we call it quits here?
No, just stay tuned to weather.gov. That's our website, and for your local forecasts, of course. And basically, if anyone has any questions, they can always feel free to call the office or email us and ask us their questions.
All right.
We're always here 24/7, 365.
All right. Well, this has been Tom Pepe out here at the National Weather Service here in San Angelo. James Bouligny, back to you guys.
When it comes to unique pieces you can't find anywhere else, Cano's Diamonds and Coins is your one-stop shop. With over 24 years in the diamond and coin industry, Cano's Diamonds and Coins is West Texas's choice for diamonds, jewelry, coins, silver, and gold. Owner Bill Cano stands by his work and offers free consultations, including estate jewelry. Don't just trust anyone with your valuables. Come see the staff at Cano's at 1016 West Beauregard in San Angelo.
Thanks again for watching the Live Daily News Show, the only locally owned live news show in the Concho Valley. Go like us on Facebook, X, formerly known as Twitter, and all the other social media sites, and download the San Angelo Live mobile app to stay up to date with all the news from in and around the Concho Valley. Thanks again, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.